We're talking Everton. Let's talk to their Everton blogger, the host of GrandOldTeam TV, Adam Partlington joins us. Adam, good evening to you.
Hello, lads. You okay?
Yeah, thanks for coming on. Were you aware that your team was owned by a Stoke player?
I wasn't. That was news to me. I like that tune, though, by the way. Hey, lads, by the way, it's nice to speak to you when you've got your composure, because the last time you had me on, you were laughing about the Cookie Monster, and I didn't get that reference.
Oh, yes.
Lads, so,
I forgot all about that.
Yeah, sorry, Adam was sorry about that, mate. It was totally unprofessional.
All right, lads, I'm only messing. Yeah, nice to speak to you. Anyway, so yeah, it's been a bit of a strange week again as an Evertonian.
So I don't know whether you heard the top of the show, Adam, and I'm saying this is a crucial time, just when it feels like Everton are starting to have some real stability at the football club. They've got an owner that clearly has big ambitions. It looks like you're going to be moving to a new stadium. You've got one of the most exciting young talents playing up front, scoring pretty much at will. They've got a manager there who's brilliant, but rumoured to be leaving. It does feel like that all of a sudden, just when things are looking quite rosy, that potentially that the whole rug could be taken under them.
Potentially, yeah. To be honest with you, I'm not concerned so much about Koeman going. I think that if you look maybe at the potential managers that could go to Barcelona, then I don't think he'd be first on the list anyway, lads. I think he's probably got to do a little bit more at Everton before he's considered in that breath. I'm not too concerned about Ross leaving. I know you mentioned that earlier on in the show. I'm really not concerned about him. And obviously, Lukaku, it is an issue at the moment. Is he or is he not going to stay? He's not actually said anything over the last few weeks that. He's not said anything directly that he won't sign. That's come from, the rumours that were put out. If you actually read the interview with him in the Echo, he doesn't talk about that. What he says is he wants the club to match his ambition. So, it does. It's always a little bit shaky. This is the life of an Evertonian. I think any Blue would tell you this, but I'm still relatively confident that we'll get our stuff together. And Cundy, you're right. Everton are the biggest underachievers in the Premier League. I think.
Of the big clubs, yeah.
Yeah, fourth, fifth most successful club in the country, and obviously that's not been replicated in
Adam,
the past few decades.
Let me just pick you up on a few things. Firstly, when you said Lukaku, he actually said he wants a club to match his ambition, not this club. And I think that is massively different, because if a club he wants to match his ambition, and his ambition is to win trophies, that might not be Everton.
It might not be, but it might be as well. You know what I mean? He's not said like I want to leave Everton. I can't do this here. What he wants, I believe, and is for the board to come out in the summer and back him. What he did also say is he was a little bit critical of the past two transfer windows. I think he expected a little bit more, and he said, I don't know what the plan is. Well, that's a bit of a concern because we all thought there was this clear plan there. But yeah, so I think he showed a bit of ambition. At the end of the day, lads, we have been used to, over the past few years as Evertonians, we had the likes of Philip Neville, who was our captain for so long, coming out and saying that 10th was good enough for Everton. Now we've got a big, important senior player in Romelu Lukaku saying, I want this club to match my ambition. And as an Evertonian, I want them to do that. So I've got no issue with it. I really haven't.
Okay, well, let me ask you about something else you said. You're not too concerned about Ross Barkley leaving, but the problem I would have if I was an Everton fan, it's not necessarily a worry him leaving the club with regards to I think it would be actually, because I'm a big fan of his, but the message that would send out. He's considered certainly one for the future. A bright kid. He's got lots of talent, and you assume he's going to have a big part to play in England's setup over the next few years. If Everton were allowed to let him leave the club, what message would that send out to players like Lukaku and also other players that are thinking of coming into the club?
Well, yeah, because you've got the likes of Tom Davies there as well, who is a similar kind of mould to Barkley in the sense that he's a local lad, etc. So yeah, no, that'd be devastating. I don't think it'll happen. I think that Ross will probably end up staying. I think he'll sign a new contract and everything will be dandy there. We've got to remember with Ross Barkley though, he isn't that young anymore. He came into the side. He had that serious leg break, I think, when he was just literally he was about 17, 18. If he didn't think he was going to recover from that, and he came in. Moyes didn't play, and then Martinez came in and obviously started to utilise him. But then he has dipped in and out of form himself. So he is a bit of a strange one. But at the moment, he's looking really good. And obviously, I want Everton to keep him. And you're spot on. It would send out a bad message, I think.
He's still only 23,
He's still, granted, but he's at that stage now where he needs to continue the form that he's in. We can't make excuses for him anymore, I think, is the point I'm trying to make.
Adam, let me ask you this then. Moshiri has come in with big plans. He's making all the right noises. But there has to come a point where he puts his money where his mouth is. You heard what you just said there, what Lukaku said about the last transfer windows. Is this the time for Mershiri to back what he said, give Lukaku huge amount of money to keep him? If it, I don't know whether it is going to be enough money to keep him, but make that intent, make that statement, and also back Koeman and give him the sort of money that, let's be honest, we've seen Spurs and Leicester get in the Champions League. Why can't Everton?
Exactly. Why can't Everton? And you're right, to cite the Spurs example, but it's not going to happen overnight. And I think, Lukaku, look, we can't say to him, you've got to hang around and wait for us, because he won't. He doesn't need to. But it isn't going to happen overnight. And who knows? Maybe the money was there in the summer and they just couldn't acquire that level of player. Because remember, the position we're in, we finished, in the bottom half for the past 2 seasons before this one under Roberto. So. We're trying to make that transition, and this is the tough bit here now to try and make that step up, and this is where we've obviously got to try and keep these lads. But yeah, it is challenging. But Fahad Moshiri, or Shaqiri, as you call him, Monday, he's put his money where his mouth is to a certain extent. Right, we haven't seen the huge investment in the playing staff, but I've already just cited the reasons as to why that might not have been. But we've seen potentially a new stadium on the offing, and we've seen him go and get Koeman. We've seen him, I think, clear a lot of the debt. So, there is something there. You can tell something's happening. You guys are picking up on it now. But you're dead right. We need to make sure that the boat doesn't get rocked too much in this period, and it throws us all overboard, and then we have to start again. So,
Adam, pleasure speaking to you. Thanks so much for your time.
No worries. Thanks for having me, lads. I just get told off because I never mentioned GrandOldTeam's forum, so I just have to mention that. It's been around for 10 years. The lads on there always give me a bit of stick if I don't actually mention it, so I just wanted to throw that in. But thank you for having me on, guys. Appreciate it.
Cheers, Ed.
Our pleasure.